yesterday evening. Shiba Inu tokens are slumping as users report bridging issues after the much-hyped Shibarium network went live on Wednesday. Joining us now to discuss is SHIB Metaverse advisor Marcie Jastrow. Welcome to the show, Marcie.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Great. Congratulations on the launch yesterday.
Yes, quite the excitement.
All right, let's just start at the beginning here. Very briefly, tell us what Shibarium is and what you intend to achieve as the project moves forward.
Well, Jen, as we talked about, Shibarium is an L2. It is scalable, flexible, faster than the speed of light. And our metaverse will actually be building on top of it.
So what do you do as the Shibarium metaverse advisor? Like, who do you sit down with? You're advising somebody, right? So somebody's either calling you, emailing you, or something. Like, what do you do? You're like, okay, you're a dog. Now let me tell you what I think you should do as a dog. Like, what happens there?
Well,
are you talking to a Shiba Inu?
I don't know, Bart. So I'm actually talking to a person, several,
a real person. Okay. People, not a kennel.
Huh?
Not a kennel.
No. I mean, I think that you have to understand that, there are some very strong people behind this project. And the project makes sense because of how large our community is. And, we sit here behind these 2D walls, and our Shibizens, as we called last night, want to be together in a 3D environment and be able to interact. So building a metaverse for this community is actually exactly the smart thing to do. Being a person who's been world building for a while now, I find the name metaverse so insane when 9 times out of 10, there's nothing to build around it. So for us, the SHIB army being as strong as it is, makes building a metaverse a perfect place for them to interact.
But what do you actually do? So as an advisor, what do you, I'm curious how.
So essentially, because of my background in content creation, understanding of new content workflows like Game Engine, we bring on the team to build the worlds and lay out the technology and how people will monetize or interact inside the metaverse.
You brought up your
Go ahead.
You brought up your background in content production. I know that you have a whole career in Hollywood before you joined this industry. Can we expect any big Hollywood partnerships coming up, similar to what we saw with the Bored Ape Yacht Club and their metaverse?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're going to go after every brand there is on Earth.
Can you tell us about any of them?
Of course not.
Did you get a Netflix deal?
Huh?
Is there a Netflix deal involved? Netflix seems to sign a lot of people. So is there a Netflix deal?
Well, sign a lot of people as in partnerships.
You could make a show that, they're like, yeah, we'll give you, honestly,
Could you
just
imagine this? I mean, could you imagine telling the story of SHIB and the experiment that went out? I mean, there's many different things you can do. So yes, there will be a movie theater in the metaverse. There will be screens all over the metaverse. We'll have constant IP, gaming, you name it, major programming. Think of a metaverse as if it's a cable show or a cable channel where you have multiple hours of programming.
God help us.
Why is that? What don't you like about that?
There's a lot of interesting things going on TV. Not so interesting things too. I don't know if you've. I think the Hollywood. Well, I have some strong opinion. Is strike affecting you?
Think about this. Right now, there's a writer's strike and there's an actor's strike. So there's a stoppage. Los Angeles alone is experiencing, not just in the industry itself of Hollywood, but the surrounding industries. So you've got to find ways to be able to build this content. And right now, there's a lot of user-generated content that is actually more hours of YouTube are being watched than traditional television or even streaming. So I think that you have to understand that people need to consume content in different ways and in different places. And a metaverse with millions of eyeballs certainly makes sense.
Now, Marcie, I got to ask you about the pause in the network that I mentioned in the intro. So blockchain data shows that transactions on the network were stalled for at least 5 hours earlier. CoinDesk tried to verify the issue and was unable to bridge tokens to Shibarium. What does the, I guess, stop and start launch mean for the project? What's been happening internally to kind of fix and move forward?
Sure. So, technology is tough. And when you have millions and millions of people running into one server or one time or one browser at one time, things are going to happen. And I've had that happen several times when I've worked on content or any sort of technology projects. But I think we learned, right? So I think we learned from the situation. We do things differently, perhaps, and we find the right ways to make sure that that never happens again.
And then lastly, Shibarium is now open for development. It is a layer 2, like some other layer 2s we've seen launched recently. How are you thinking about being competitive and attracting developers to come and build on this layer 2 versus, let's say, Base that launched recently?
Well, again, our community is huge, and there's nothing like having the SHIB army behind you doing anything. So I would just say to all developers, if you have a great project and you want to be a part of the SHIB army, please join. It's great.
All right, Marcie, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining the show this morning.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care.
That was SHIB Metaverse advisor Marcie Jastrow.